Hello everybody, Flimbin here. I'm trying to do a return to YouTube, so I thought it'd be a cool idea to go revisit one of my old videos. It's now 7 years ago that I made Time Critters, and I thought it'd be a cool jumping off point to re-examine the one thing I ever made that went viral when I was very young. Yeah, kind of just like use it as a bit of a cash grab really. Try and jump back in by sucking my old content. But on a real note, it'll be interesting to have a look at it. Some of you may know what this is. A lot of people have been commenting for years, trying to get me to do more of this. I never will, but I'm doing stuff similar, and it will be cool to go back and have a look. So the original video I made showcasing this comic came out on the 2nd of July 2017, which is when I was 13, just about to turn 14. And now I am 21. So it's been more than 7 years since. Damn. By the way guys, there may be a card game video coming soon. Alright, let's go. Here it is, the original Time Critters. I had to get this sent up to me by my mum. I didn't want to risk it being in the mail, so she brought it up when she was visiting me in London the other day. Special delivery, special payload. Here it is, the Copic marker cover. I remember doing a speed art of this. All those videos are still up now. Let's have a look. So there's some content I found also of stuff for later volumes that never came out. These are pages that were going to be in the next one. I was going to do another one about this size, but I ended up not doing that in the end. So here it is. These were the first pages I ever drew. It's all come apart now. I remember a lot of people were asking for tutorials on how I did this like DIY version of bookbinding. I've actually done real bookbinding workshops since, and you don't do it like this, although the way you do it is very similar. What I would do is just get all the pages, Pritt stick them, shove it in, and then compress it for a few days, and then it would hold. But obviously it's all fallen apart. But this has just been sitting in my spare room of my house back home for years, and people read it and then they go, "Oh Flynn, why were you better when you were younger?" And it annoys me. But yeah, the art is not great, but it's good for the time. I remember drawing a lot of these pages at secondary school. A lot of the teachers wouldn't like it, but some would be okay with it because it was clearly more important than the actual lessons. I remember doing a particular one, the page about the Henry VIII in a lesson. I'll point that out when we get to it. Yeah, so at the time, I guess the biggest inspirations was like Cartoon Network stuff, like Regular Show, Adventure Time, Gumball, but then making it more of an episodic like Gravity Falls, and also Rick and Morty obviously. So like it was definitely that mix, and it seemed to people, I think a lot of people were like kind of gravitated to the video of me showing this off originally because it was like the art was like achievable. It wasn't like good enough where it was like out of reach of like kids wanting to make their own comics, but also it was like slightly elevated so they could be like, "Oh, I want to do that one day as well." So it's like kind of in that little like that kind of cusp of not perfect professional but pretty decent. So people it kind of captured people's imaginations. I think a lot of people wanted to tell that Gravity Falls Regular Show mix, and I just luckily stumbled upon that niche. A lot of pages. That was based on someone in my class. There's a lot of like weird anatomy things that I used to do when a character was looking up. I'd do that weird chin thing. That's not the best way to do it. I used to use, if people know those like Faber-Castell, like grey pens. And then later on I upgraded to Copics. And I would just have like a set of 4 or 5 Copics that I'd put in a little glasses case that I'd carry around with me everywhere so I could do the pages if I needed to. I'd have like a ruler, a biro, and my Copics, and then I'd get them out in class, so then they'd be easy to hide away if a teacher sees. I wonder when we're going to get to the point where the Copics come in. In hindsight, Felix is definitely based on me. Skip ahead. I think this bit, I remember doing these. It's really like cool, the memories, because I remember doing these pages at my grandparents' house vividly. The bit of time travel bit. There's a video of like, I kind of half animated the first part of this book. I was gonna do. I have a thing of biting off more than I could chew. I wanted to do the whole story and like this webcomic thing. It kind of reminds me of the 5 years later Ben 10 Danny Phantom fan series. If anyone watches that, it's like the nerdiest thing, but I love it. A lot of stuff, like there's like descriptions and arrows. That's like a weakness in a story. If you need to like describe the image that you're showing, you can, but you should always just like, it's got to be clear enough on its own. Like past Felix, that's obvious, it's past Felix. It didn't need that word. That did not need that. Or maybe it did, I don't know. The scrunched up school poster they go back in time to throw is actually earlier on. I just love that kind of Gravity Falls stuff in earlier episodes gets explained by later ones, like blending blanding in the background. Yeah. So there were some later ideas that I can't remember if I ever shared, but when I wanted to come back to Time Critters, like maybe a year later, I wanted to do like a full plan of the story, and I think it was going to be about 4 or 5 volumes. So this was the first one, and then if it was like an actual animated show, it would have like 20 or 40 of this length. This is an episode of TV. But I thought like this took too long, so I was going to do just 5 of these and the story will be done. Obviously, again, biting off way more than I could chew. But this is going to be the full storyline. And because it's a time travel story, I run into a lot of roadblocks. I had to like work out different timelines, who created the machine, who didn't on certain timelines, why is Felix at the end of this book, it says I kind of trapped myself into one way of telling the story, because it's like your family history plays a big role in the origin of time travel. So I was trying to create this ongoing cartoon linear story, which would have been great, but I was like way too young. I still can't do that today. Like I said in my sketchbook tour video, which you can check out now, I'll put a link in the description below. I've always wanted to do an animated series, but just like sticking to one thing would be insane. I want to do a comic. I want to do my own shonen manga series one day with a full battle system. That is just the dream, but like there's too much going on with uni and stuff. I don't even know how I think I could commit to this one thing, because I don't know, it was just like I was very anxious at secondary school, but I think around this time I had my first girlfriend, which is just really cringe, but it just kind of gave me that motivation to just pop off. I remember coming home and just drawing this every day. I was obsessed. It was it was a really anxious time, but it was also a really good time. I don't know, there's a lot of memories attached to this book. But yeah, a lot of timeline stuff. You can tell I was slightly better at drawing at this time than when the actual one came out. Like the sketches are a lot better. Oh, I think I did. There are some drawings, I don't know where they are, but I did them in hospital when I had like an operation on my foot, and I remember in the morning I was like kind of like hopped up on whatever they'd give me for the anesthetic, and I remember drawing like later characters, and it was really like fun. So there's like ideas about Felix's future wife and the time machine and all this stuff. I don't know, let's read a little bit. Because he is jealous, he is married time. So Dory, there's a bit of beef. Both stories end with conclusion time shouldn't be messed with. I was trying to work out a theme. Adult Dory and Felix time fight badness infinitely, but good or bad isn't always black and white. So I think the idea was like the time travelers have good intentions, but they can't make everything good and bad forever. It's kind of like that Doctor Who problem, like some things need to stay the same, but also if it was real life, if you were infinite and immortal, wouldn't you just save everything forever? Then everything would be perfect. So then as a narrative thing, you have to make sure that there's ways around the time travel that cause bad things to happen. So there is story to be told. Time travel is just messed up. There's reasons why in Rick and Morty there's all those jokes about like time travel having like, it's like bad for storytelling.
Yes, Morty, I saw it on Futurama.
Oh, so you don't do anything unless it's original?
I don't do time travel.
It's not time travel, it's saving a place in time.
Oh my god, is this what you think I do?
But I love it. These are like the first few pages of what the second volume was going to be. You can tell the art is a bit better. There's a lot more like blending. I don't know how the Copics lasted this long. They were so expensive, so I just had to like run with the same 4 or 5. And yeah. So like there's an inciting event at the start, very Ben 10, like the start of an episode being a burning building. I'm pretty sure there's a episode of that where Ben saves like a woman and child as heat blast in a burning building. Is definitely very much that, like a superhero story, inciting event that has nothing to do with the rest of the episode, but just shows the characters what they've been up to. There was going to be another Dorian invention. He was going to have like 4 or 5 inventions that came up, like the gun that enlarges the head and the grabber. But yeah, if you're interested in the Time Critters videos, they're all still up. There's a read through. There's a like animated part 1. I'm not sure if I ever did part 2. Since this has come out, a lot of things have happened. It gained me a lot of subscribers, which was a blessing and a curse. Because now, when I was older and I got a bit more like edgy, I wanted to move away from it, and it was just haunting me. Every comment was either wanting card games or this. And now that I'm older, I feel like as an artist, you have like a phase of you want to be like seen as serious and like cool or edgy, and then you come back when you're a bit older. Now I'm at uni, I'm like, oh no, this stuff was actually cool. So yeah, I feel like I'm about to come back and do like more regular videos to what I used to, but with like the newfound like art knowledge that I have. Probably still pretentious bastard. It's crazy to me that since it's came out, people have done re-uploads and archives of all the videos about Time Critters. One of them, Card Games Homemade TCG Archive, gets 1,000 views on one of my videos because I privated them for a while. There's people who, well, this is Time Critters in the title, so look, there's people who inspired their own games, like kind of how I used to rip off Adventure Time. I used to make Adventure Time comics. It's insane that it had that reach, and it kind of makes me annoyed that I didn't capitalize on it. Shout out this guy. Some kid. There's a load of people who have also remade the comic page for page and have tried to sell it online. Let me see if I can find that. Yeah, look, someone has... Ethan Land put it up. I remember... This has happened a few times. I can't remember if this is the time where the mum... I got like an email from the mum and she was like, oh, he didn't know. We didn't know what was going on. He did it for charity or something. I have no idea. I don't care because it's not selling for £76, is it? But it's just crazy how like he changed the name. He left the name of Dorian the same, but he changed Felix's name to Brent. It's just crazy. Can Dorian save his time machine? What is the real identity of the robot? It's just the same story bit for bit. It's insane. Damn, it's even sold on Waterstones. I hope this kid has not sold any. Jeez. But yeah, there used to be loads of videos. They're probably all gone now of people ripping it off. But I don't know, I find that pretty cool. This will not be the last story I tell. My dream is to one day have an episodic story or a comic or an animation. So this was just a step in that path. It was nice to revisit it. Hopefully it got back some of you older viewers. But we're going to be moving on. I'm finally giving it some closure that people have been asking for years. But stay tuned because I'm going to be creating even more worlds. We're going to be doing comics, animations, more art videos. I've got a story coming up which is some kind of weird experiment between a card game and animated video, an album. It's a mix of everything, a world for people to engage themselves in. So that's Hat World, and that's coming next week. But yeah, for now, just stay tuned because there's going to be a lot going on.